Poolbeg Power Station is a vast red brick electricity generating station that began its life in 1902. The power station that was built there was quite a utilitarian red brick structure comprising a relatively long boiler house and against it a turbine hall or an engine room. There was a very tall red brick chimney stack at the south end of the power station.
In the landscape of warehousing and large-scale industrial buildings, it's gorgeous. It's got detail and complexity that keep you interested. It's not because it's Victorian, it's not because it's big. It's significant because of what the building did and what it represents. The building is power generation in Ireland for 100 years. We don't have that much industrial heritage of a large scale, and this is as large as it gets in this country. So to see it and a couple of the elements on it that make it spectacularly different from other buildings gets people excited, curious, and everyone walks away going, oh, I had totally different ideas what it was about.
The power station you see today is very different to how it would have been when it was fully operational. The place would have been teeming with workmen from the locality. It would have been at the beating heart of Ringsend and this part of the city of Dublin.
When the building was built first, it was 3 bays of brick warehouse with a large chimney. Besides the scale, it was quite simple. When you first approach the building, you see the 3 gables and the chimney in front of you. The chimney is quite a tall chimney, but originally that was 200 feet tall. The 3 brick gables are quite ornate, they're quite beautiful, they're very Victorian. You have a Venetian-style 3-bay window in one of the gables that would suit any posh country house of its time. The building is there because of the dock and the pier. When the ships would come, they'd unload the coal onto the pier. Conveyor belts would bring the coal up the side of the building, up onto the hulking great steel structure, which housed the hoppers, storing the coal, dropping them into the generators below. So that first bay, burning the coal. The second bay, that's the engine room, creating steam. And the third bay is about transferring that steam into electricity and transporting it away.
The engine room contains a whole complex network of vast reinforced structures which would have supported the turbines that powered the electricity generation. The turbines are gone, but these structures still remain. It has almost like a post-apocalyptic quality to it when you're in the building.
The control room was built in about 1945. It's a super modernist oval-shaped room, white glass ceiling set within a steel grid. It still has the power to think, well, this was cutting edge. What's even more fascinating is above that wonderful white glass ceiling, you have a roof light, pure Victorian design, traditional joinery methods to put it together. That's pretty much happens throughout the building. The high tech and the traditional together fighting with new technology.
At the east end of the power station was built a 2-story structure that is probably the most decorative and most elaborate part of the original building. It was to house offices, but also the switchgear rooms and all of the mechanics needed to transform and convert the power into electricity.
The building was likely designed by engineers because it was to house machinery, and it would have been the expertise of the machinery that informed the building. All the kit was coming from Scotland, and it was about creating a space big enough to house that. From an architecture point of view, it is a basic big shed with some lovely flourishes. It's an English bond machine-made brick building, which again would be beautiful wherever you put it. It has a few little details that just bring a bit of design and Victorian formality. The Pigeon House power station was decommissioned in the 1970s, replaced by the oil-powered power station right beside it, with the 2 large distinguished chimneys, which are now iconic to Dublin. The fact that Pigeon House power station lost its chimney, that was nearly 200 foot high, is the only reason why it's not as well known as its younger neighbour next door.
There's something breathtaking about the power station. What can be more dramatic than this cathedral to electricity generation situated nearly 3 kilometres into the bay?
That whole peninsula, it's always been the backyard of Dublin, and it's too special an area to have as an afterthought. This building changed the country, changed how we live our lives. It gave us street lighting, it gave us shift work, it gave us electricity in the home. That's its value, and that's why it needs to be retained.